I haven't made a video for the longest time, and that's because I've been having all of the fun at Halloween Horror Nights this year, like this. So if you watch my videos a lot, you'll know that I was going to do an RIP tour with the guys from Scarezone, and it was so much fun. If anyone's kind of wondering whether or not they should do it, I 100% recommend it because it is amazing. I mean, when you weigh it up against the cost of Express, because we did get Express a few times, and one night we paid $120 for an Express pass, and the cost of our RIP tour, because it was a private one, was $220. So for that extra $100, you don't have to wait in any queue at all. You literally get taken through the exit of the queue straight into the house, and you get so much information around the house as well. Our tour guide was Megan, and she was fantastic. You can request a tour guide, and I definitely recommend that you request Megan because she was so knowledgeable, she was so much fun. She's worked there for a long time, and she has an awful lot of fun facts and fun information about all of the houses from the last few years. So we loved her, she was fantastic. You also get a lanyard, so you don't need to buy a lanyard. I bought one anyway, but you don't have to because you're gonna get one for free. And you get a little card. And this works pretty much in the same way that the Express Pass does. So this, oh sorry, just to focus. This will be scanned every time that you go into a house, just to make sure that you're not going in there when you shouldn't be. That's pretty much all that you need for the entire night. You have to go and check in a special RIP check-in area where there's a cash bar and there's loads of fun food and cakes and things like that. And they pretty much make you feel special for the entire night. So we started off with Halloween, which is an awfully good house to start off with. And like I said, you do get taken just through the exit of the queues. You go straight in, there's no waiting around, and you can pretty much do anything that you want to on the tour. And by anything I want to, I mean, if I wanted to do Krampus 10 times, I pretty much could have, because it's your tour when it's a private tour, and you make the night how you want it. So that's why I definitely recommend doing it, because it's your night, do what you want. Your tour guides will try to make it as much about you as they possibly can. So definitely recommend doing it, and we'll have a video up on it soon. I'm just going to do a quick little bit about the houses that I enjoyed the most this year and the houses that I enjoyed least. Which I feel a little bit bad about saying because I did actually enjoy every single house this year, but I guess you've got to put them in order of how you like them. So I'm going to start off with my ranked number 9 house this year. This made me feel a little bit sad, really, because I was so excited. You know that I love Chance so much. I was so excited that she was going to be the icon this year, and I was really looking forward to her house. But I have to rank Chance's house at number 9, just really because it's the one that I went through least, and realistically it was because I just don't like 3D houses. It was nothing really else against the house. I wish that I could have seen the story that was described on the website a little bit more throughout the house, but it was just the 3D. I did take the glasses off about halfway through and just try and give it a shot without the 3D, but I still just didn't really enjoy it as much as I wanted to. But I knew that already, I knew that going into it, and so when I did my last video about what I was looking forward to the most, I'd already ranked it at number 9 because I kind of knew that going into it. So my number 8 house this year was The Exorcist. I was really excited to see how they did it, and I wasn't disappointed at all. It was still a really good house. The facade of the house was beautiful. It was so nice to look at. They'd done it so well. I just happen to like other houses a lot more. Again, I didn't really go through this that many times, purely because when you've had a HHN beer or 2, like you do at Halloween Horror Nights, and then you walk through the sicky mattresses. The smell was just so overwhelming. My poor little beery stomach couldn't handle it. And so I kind of didn't go through that house as much as I did with others, and that's the only reason really that it's number 8, because it still was a really fantastic house. My number 7 house this year was Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Again, fantastic house. I loved it so, so much. I wish that they could all be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but this house was fantastic. It was so scary, so scary. Every single time that I went through, Leatherface would get me with that sliding metal door. Every single time, without fail, and I was terrified every single time. Usually, when I'm really scared of Halloween Horror Nights houses, I slither along the walls because I'm terrified, and I kind of like wiggle around because I'm so scared. I didn't even want to touch the walls in this house because it was all just filled with grossness. It was disgusting in that house. It was petrifying. There was one night when we went after Hurricane Matthew had passed and the park had reopened, and we decided to go at about 11 o'clock at night, and there was literally like 4 of us walking through this house, and it was the most scared that I have ever been at Halloween Horror Night. Petrifying. Every single scare actor got us, every single one, because obviously we were the only ones in there. Terrifying. I knew that I was going to be the most scared of this house, and I definitely was. It's the film that scares me probably the most, and I love horror films and everything, but they do scare me. But that's what I watch them for, because I just like being scared. It definitely worked. They did it really well. It stunk in the house. It smelled so bad. Whole different level to Exorcist. It was disgusting. So well done. Loved it. My number 6 house this year was The Walking Dead. That might surprise a few people because I'm not the biggest Walking Dead fan, and this house was probably one of my actual favourites. Like, night on night, I probably went into this one of the most. I loved it. It was probably the most intense house scare-wise. There were so many scare actors in there. Everywhere you turned there was a scare actor. They were all after you. It was so well done, and if this is the last time that they're going to do it, they definitely went out with a bang, because it was fantastic. Even though I'm not completely up to date with Walking Dead, I have just watched a new episode though, and wow, emotional. But I kind of drifted in and out of it, but I still felt like I knew everything that was going on in the house. It was so well done. Absolutely loved it. My number 5 house was Halloween. This house, wow. I had probably the funniest night I've ever had at Halloween Horror Nights, funniest moment that I've ever had at Halloween Horror Nights in this house. Again, when the hurricane had passed, we went on a Saturday. Usually you can't use a frequent flyer plus pass on a Saturday, but because the park was closed for 2 days when we could have used the pass, Universal were really nice and decided to let everybody with a frequent flyer use their pass on a Saturday. So we went into this house. We only got to Halloween Horror Nights at like 11 o'clock, and the park was totally empty, so we were walking through. I got put in the front, which is a bad idea I know, because I'm the most scared in the whole group, and I took a wrong turn. I ended up trapped between a mirror and Michael Myers, and everyone behind me was just piling in, and I couldn't go forward because there was a mirror in the way, and then on the other side of me was Michael Myers. So everyone was piling in behind me. I was freaking out, screaming. This Michael Myers is just stood there like, what the hell's going on? And I'm like, I don't know, mate. I'm trapped between you and a mirror. And it was so funny. It was hilarious. And that's probably why it's so high up on my list, because I knew that I had such a fun night. Every other night, I was slithered right along the walls like usual, terrified. Every Michael Myers got me, every single time. I loved this house. My number 4 house was one that I probably went into the most, and that was Ghost Town. This house never had a line ever. It never ever had a line, and I don't know why, because it was so good. I mean, it rained inside. What more do you want from a Halloween Horror Nights house? It was so good. I loved everything about it. I loved the theming. I loved all of the decorations. It was so good. And obviously, where's my gold? You can't not like where's my gold. When you look over the bridge and it looks like you're looking right the way down, fantastic. I loved everything about this. Every single time that I went through it, I had a fantastic time. I really hope that Ghost Town comes back again because it was just so good, and the whole group that I was with always enjoyed this house too. I loved it. My number 3 house this year, again I went through this house so many times because this also never really had a long line, was Tomb of the Ancients. I love every single thing about this house. Every single thing. How compact it was, the guy on the stilts, the crocodile lion, everything. I was always terrified in this house. There was one night when I got so scared that I broke my bag because I freaked out that much as I was exiting and walking through the black curtains. Some guy jumped out at me, scared me, and I threw my bag on the floor, completely snapped it, and had to buy a little chance rucksack thing from the Halloween Horror Nights store. I was terrified. The guys in the hieroglyphics room where it's all like flashy lights got me every single time from every single side. Loved this house. It never seems to have a queue over like 30 minutes, and I guess because it was right next to Halloween and everyone kind of went to Halloween, but this house was so good. Like, get in line for it, it's amazing. Hope they do something like this again in the future because it was really fun. I especially loved when all my friends were ready to go home and I'd just exit Halloween and then run back into Tomb of the Ancients queue and do Tomb of the Ancients again. Always my last house of the night. Loved it. My number 2 house this year was American Horror Story. Wow. I knew that I was gonna love this house, and I definitely did. The line for this house was always about 3 hours, but honestly, it is so worth it. It is like being in each different series. Murder House, fantastic. The Burned Man, the maid, the rubber suit guys, everything about it was so well done. The characters were spot on. It was fantastic. Then you move through to Freak Show. You've got the bearded lady, you've got Marguerite, you've got Twisty. It was terrifying and fantastic. It was so good. And then obviously you move on to Hotel and you've got all of the music. You've got Lady Gaga coming out of the elevator. You've got the guy coming out of the bed. It was so well done. And the house was about 5 or 6 minutes long. It was a really long house. It was the Uber house of this year. It was so good. We went through this house a whole bunch of times, obviously because we had Express and we had the RIP tour, but we did queue for it one night as well, and it's so worth it. And the fact that the queue was inside and you were in the air conditioning obviously helped. I loved this house. My friends loved this house. It's a lot of their number 1 houses. It was so good. It was so good, and I really hope that what people are saying is actually true and they're going to do 3 more seasons of American Horror Story next year in the kind of way that they've been doing The Walking Dead, because they're really good at doing it and I really enjoyed it. On to my number 1 house of this year. I love this house so much. I can't even describe how much I loved it. I knew that I was gonna. I wasn't wrong with my predictions. Krampus. Krampus is my favourite. Krampus is my number 1. I love every single thing about Krampus. The gingerbread man, the little gingerbread man that's spinning around in the what's it called? What do you call it? Waste disposal sink thing. Loved it. In the attic with this little Jack-in-the-Box and the bear. And then Krampus on the roof. I loved everything about it. This was always the one that I was the most excited to do. I loved Krampus. I know that a lot of people were a little bit disappointed with it, but I don't know why, because I loved it. My friend literally said to me that they Didn't really know why I loved it so much, but that I went through pretty much squealing with happiness the whole entire time. And that's true, that's what I did. I was so excited about everything in this house, every single time. I love Krampus. On to the scare zones. My number 5 scare zone this year was, again, this makes me really, really sad, Chance's scare zone. It was still really good. The idea of it was really, really good. It was just so busy all the time because it's at the very front of the park, and obviously Chance is the icon, so she is on her little stage. She is banging out all of her rude little jokes, and there's like 100 people surrounding the stage, and you're trying to wiggle through. And I'm 5 foot tall. I am 5 foot tall, so when I'm trying to wiggle through this whole group of people, it's really, really hard. And I always wanted to go and stand and watch her, but at the same time I didn't want to stand with all of those people. I wanted to go and be in a house or seeing the rest of the guys in the scare zone, because all of the scare actors were so good in this zone. They were amazing. It is just because it was really busy that it's so far down on my list. But if it was somewhere else in the park, it definitely would have been a little bit higher. Still really well done. But I have to have a number 1 and a number 5. So number 5 is Cancer Scare Zone. Then number 4 is Banshee. I always am very terrified of scare zones in this area of the park because they tend to stick to one kind of theme, and that's like a foresty, scarecrowy, woodsy kind of theme, and it always works really well. And this was really well done as well. I particularly liked the little ghost thing that they had, and the actual Banshee women. They were really, really good. They got me every single time. It was always really dark and really foggy. You'll see it in one of my videos coming up that I had to kind of fight through the fog like this to get through. It was really well done. There was just other scare zones that I definitely did prefer a little bit more. My number 3 is Survive or Die. I loved this scare zone. It was so good every single time. All the scare actors were so on point with scaring people. Again, you'll see in my video how terrifying they were. I had one guy come over and tell me that he wanted to lick my hair. It was really creepy. It was a really, really good scare zone. I liked it a lot more than I thought that I was going to. And there was fire, there was gas masky men with their muscles out. It was a really good scare zone. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I just liked the 2 a little bit more. My number 2 scare zone this year was Dead Man's Warp. Wow, what an amazing scare zone that was. The boat, the guys with the starfish on the faces, the guys wearing the diving helmets, and it was all glowy inside. So creepy, so well done. My only thing about it was that it was just in such a small area and there's so many people passing through. Sometimes you couldn't see all of the scares and you didn't get to have the best experience of it. But I'd just go back later in the night and then I'd still get that amazing walkthrough of it. It was so well done. I spent many a night being chased through that scare zone by all of those little dead wharfy men. It was fantastic. I absolutely loved it. I love that kind of theming, and I hope that we see something like that again in the future because it was so, so good. Definitely my number 2. Loved it. Dead Man's Warp. My number 1 scare zone this year. I knew that it would be my number 1. It didn't disappoint me. I absolutely loved it. BAM! 1955. Everyone in the scare zone were amazing. I loved everything about it. The music, the floats, the vampire greases, the girls at homecoming who were crying and bloody. I loved it. And then in the second week that we were there, they had the vamp on the motorbike come out. Amazing. Loved it. Loved everything about this scare zone. It was so well done. I'm so glad that they did it. It's one of my all-time top scare zones that Halloween Horror Nights have ever done. Loved it. So onto the shows. One show I saw this year, one show I didn't see this year. And it makes me really upset that I didn't see it. But the one that I did see was Academy of Villains. And wow, this totally surprised me. I kind of spent the whole lead up to Halloween Horror Nights thinking, oh wow, I wish they were going to do a chance show, and I'm really disappointed they're not doing one, so now I'm going to make a point of not liking this show. I was wrong. This show was fantastic. It was so well done. The dancers were amazing. The storyline of it was amazing. How they linked it in with Shady Brook. Amazing. Amazing. They're so good at what they do. And there was one night, again going back to the night that it reopened after the hurricane, they couldn't get the stage up in time, I guess. So they performed in the street and it blew everybody's minds. They were fantastic. Such good performers. I'm so glad that we had them at Halloween Horror Nights this year, and I really do hope that they come back because it was so enjoyable. And there was fire, and you can't be disappointed when there's fire popping up everywhere in a show. It was so good. I didn't get to see Bill and Ted this year because when we did the RIP tour, me and Ash left the tour a little bit earlier when the guys went to go and watch it, because we were planning to watch it on the Thursday with our friends. Because the event was cancelled on the Thursday and we didn't go, and we went really late on the Saturday, every other night that we were there we had plans to meet up with our friends, so we just didn't get time to watch it. But everyone that I've spoken to and all of my friends that did go and see it have told me how amazing it was. So if you went and you saw Bill and Ted, tell me how good it was. Break my heart, make me have a little cry about it, and then maybe I'll feel like I went to see it. But that's the thing that I am upset about this year, is that I just didn't get to see Bill and Ted. I guess I just need to go for 3 weeks next year. What a shame. So my first video from my trip is going to be up this week, and my first Halloween Horror Nights video is going to be up next week, and then they're going to be going up every week after that. So definitely make sure that you've subscribed or you've got your notifications on or whatever so that you don't miss them. And if you've been this year, let me know how you found it. What was your favourite house? What was your favourite scare zone? What are you looking forward to maybe seeing next year or the year after? I just want to know your thoughts on it, because you guys have heard my thoughts on it and you've heard me waffle for the last God knows how long about it. I really am interested in hearing what you thought about the event this year. So let me know. You can add me on Twitter, you can talk to me in the comments down below under the video. And don't forget to tell me about Bill and Ted so I can have a little cry about it. And if you want to hear like a really in-depth view of Halloween Horror Nights from me this year, don't forget to look for a podcast that I'm part of, which is Universal After Dark. I'll link that down below, because in the next episode I'm going to be talking really in depth about my experience at Halloween Horror Nights, so you don't want to be missing that. And I guess that's it. I just really want to say thanks to Logan and the guys from Scarezone for arranging such a fun night at the RIP tour, because we did have an absolute blast. And if you're not already following Scarezone, make sure you go and subscribe to them on iTunes or your preferred podcast app. Don't want to miss it. They do fantastic interviews all the time. But I guess that's it, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.